that we've seen thus far. Just talk to us a little about the last 7 weeks and how you've adjusted to higher energy costs and potential other supply chain disruptions.
Well, since our business is now national, we have to ship product from one part of the United States to another part of the United States, and sending products in trucks becomes more expensive when fuel prices are higher.
You know, Marla, come on in on this, because I do think we wanted to start macro because every business owner, CEO, head of an institution has had to kind of grapple with what's been going on in the macro. What of the macro does most concern you? You guys talked about transportation. That's certainly one of them.
Yeah, transportation, but also because of our products are made with real ingredients. Almond flour, almonds are the base of our cookies. And we use maple syrup. So these are real foods. They're not chemicals, right? A lot of foods out there, a lot of processed foods. If you look at the back of
terrifies me.
It's frightening, right? And if you look at our ingredient list, and we have a yes/no on the back there, you can see on the real cookies.
Really
we have a very short list of ingredients. So we always have to have redundancy, right? So we have multiple suppliers. We have to make sure that we can get our product. Something like maple syrup, if there's weather issues, right? In Vermont, we have to. Or we had maple syrup if we're coming from Canada, right? Tariffs.
Tariffs, yeah.
So there's always challenges in thinking about how we are going to produce these cookies.
All right, so I'm just showing for everybody. So here's the ingredients on the cookies as our guys push in. I mean, it's not...
But there's the list onto the other side, too, the green part and the red part. So yes. To almond and coconut.
So look at this,
flour.
guys. Oh, okay. Yes, almond flour. Yes, real vanilla. Yes, maple syrup. Yes, premium chocolate. Yes, natural peanut butter. No gluten, no grain, no dairy, no eggs, no corn, no soy, no artificial sweeteners. But it's really funny. And you've got some other products that we're going to talk about. I mean, it's just a couple of ingredients. How much more difficult? Tim and I talk about food a lot. We both care. He's got little ones.
I eat food a lot, too. Talk about it. I eat it.
There's banana here. There's other stuff. There's other stuff. But how difficult is it to really get healthier products? Talk about that supply chain. Talk about the costs, and talk about that process.
Well, we're always managing costs, and our costs of goods are continuously increasing, but we want to give products to consumers that are made out of real food. So our goal is to keep our ingredient list very short and get as much real food to as many people as possible.
But is it tough? Is it a tougher nut? Because I think there are reasons that people throw a lot of other different ingredients when you're doing something like this. So is it tougher to kind of restrict it? And what are those supply chains like?
It is, again, because there literally can be a shortage of almonds or a shortage of maple syrup, and so you're not getting it. But I think that today people are really caring about what they're eating. There's a lot more awareness of how food is not just to feed you, but it's to feed your body. It's for health. So I think even though prices can rise and products can be more expensive than some of the mass market foods, I think that people are willing to pay a little bit more for better quality real food and to know that they're feeding their family something that's good for them.
You guys obviously seen it. The business has grown, and maybe talk about that. Tell us about, over the last time we talked was 3 years ago, right? Like, what have you guys seen since then?
Well, we've had some exciting news with our merger. So we did merge with another company, Creations Foods, and this merger has really created a vertically integrated platform for us. So we have greater resources to do ingredient supply chain synergies, to do R&D development, to move and get to the market, get new products to the market quicker.
What are you doing with R&D? I mean, if you think about the portfolio of snacks that you have as a result of this merger, where do you see the opportunity for white space, or what is out there that's not there yet? Because this is an incredibly competitive landscape.
Yeah, well, with the increase of GLP-1 usage, the way we snack and the way we eat is changing dramatically.
Meaning high protein. High
protein, low sugar, fiber. So we are formulating with all of that in mind.
Are you reformulating existing things as a result?
We are looking at reformulating existing things, but we have a very long innovation plan of products that we want to bring to market that are just better and improved on what we have.
Like?
Well, we have a whole breadth of items from sweet to more savory.
When would we expect to see those?
By this time next year. We'd
Okay.
love to be back to talk
So
about.
it takes a long time.
It takes a long time to develop products.
So it sounds like also broadening. Like, I am curious in terms of the cookies. Now, Matt Miller was here last time, and he was like, I love them. And I know already somebody in the newsroom, our Sebastian, I think, who also loves them, was like, swiped a bag and is sampling them. These are adults. How much of what you guys are doing has been really for kids? How much of it increasingly, even adults who do care about what they are eating, is they're consuming them? And then how much of, when you think about expanding, is it going to an older or an adult population? I'm just curious about that mix.
Well, for the Real brand in particular, we're focusing on the whole family.
Yeah.
And so parents with children, thinking about feeding everyone in the family, from young children through adults. And actually, this is something that's very important to us. And Marla and I created a program called Real Food is Fuel. And we actually go into elementary schools and teach young people how to read nutrition labels, so they know when they pick up a package how to find out what's in it and how to think about where each ingredient has come from.
I love that. I mean, I've talked often on air. My daughter has been like that for years, and part of that is us. And it's taken, it wasn't that way. And maybe it was as we started to put up calories, in terms of when you go to order food. But I know she's done that for a long time, and I think it's part of it is because we've increasingly done that.
I personally also think it has to do with getting older.
Yeah.
And understanding that when you're in your 20s, although your daughter is in her 20s, but
she is
you can't kind of get away with what you were doing in your 20s when you're in your 30s. Marla, I want to go back to what you said about maple syrup and the rising costs as a result of tariffs. Our conversation started with the macroeconomic backdrop of supply crunches as a result of the war. When it comes to something like maple syrup or other of these ingredients that could be subject to tariffs, what have you had to do from a pricing perspective over the last year, and price adjustments? Like, have you had to raise prices? Tell us what you've done, or hit margins. What has happened?
I mean, we have planned for larger margins. So
you ate a lot of this.
We ate a lot of it when that happened. However, we aim for 50% margins. So when something like that happens, it brings it down, but we're still okay.
Does it cause you to say, okay, well, maybe we're not going to be able to get maple syrup from Canada. We're going to have to get it from Maine or Vermont. Does it do that? Like, that's the whole idea with tariffs.
Absolutely. And I think it also broadens our thought. Like, we've had a lot of conversation about maple syrup. I think we're probably one of the only cookie brands that uses maple syrup. And part of that is because
it's expensive.
It's expensive, but it has a low glycemic index.
Yeah.
And then when you match maple syrup with a protein like almond, it does not spike your sugars, your insulins, right? So it's much better for you. So we love maple syrup, but we are being creative, and we're looking for other ways that we can sweeten our products naturally. We are not a fan of a lot of gluten-free products. Put a lot of stuff in there that shouldn't be in there. And a lot of people use fake sugars, right? Alcohols, things that don't feel good on your body. So I think that people also are realizing, you can say, well, something doesn't have sugar, but sometimes a little bit of something is better than something that's fake or can do harm to your body. And one thing, when we came here, it was during right after the pandemic. And I have to say, another thing is that post-pandemic, we have learned a lot more about health. So we both come from families who have health issues. My daughter had a significant health issue for most of her life, still has a chronic health issue. But what we've learned, because of all the research that has come post-COVID, is that there's so much inflammation in our body, and the processed foods and these fake ingredients that we're eating are making us sick. And so if we can eat with maple syrup, so I think we're experimenting, how can we bring the amount of maple syrup down and maybe add a little bit something else natural to keep it sweet.
I made a pecan pie for Thanksgiving, and no sugar, but used maple syrup, and it was really great. So it's interesting how recipes and things are substituting.
You make a lot of cookies too around the holidays.
I do. There's a lot of sugar and
those
butter
have
in there.
sugar in them. The ones that I've tried.
There's a lot of sugar and butter.
But she brings them into everybody.
But there's only like a handful of ingredients. But no, fair. What do you make of an administration? I'm not looking for politics, but whether it's the FDA or our Health and Human
HHS,
Services
yeah.
Secretary, in terms of what they're saying about health and what to eat. From what you guys are seeing, I feel like what you see in terms of consumer trends tells you a lot. You are telling me that consumers care. It doesn't matter what they're hearing elsewise or from an administration, they care, and you've seen it in the uptick in your goods. Is that fair?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
And I think I've also worked a bunch in the patient advocacy space just because of our health challenges in our family, and I think parents especially, and people who have chronic illness themselves, know what they need to do. And I think the most important, and Lauren and I are both big researchers, so we read everything, and when we're sourcing our ingredients, everything is really well thought. But I think that my message to all consumers is read as much as you can, right? And you have to look at different sources. You have to go, and when you're reading, go and look at the scientific research yourself and look at how the studies were set up. So don't take someone else's word for what is healthy, what is good for you, what is bad for you. Really read and do your own research.
Lauren, have you changed the way that you eat as a result of starting this company?
I think I've always kind of eaten on the healthier side. I was an athlete after college, and I know directly that when I eat something that isn't made with good ingredients, I just don't feel good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, it's like you can do it in your 20s, but...
All right, I just got to ask you about this before we leave. First of all, I love that it's called Moon Cheese. This is your collaboration, right? And the result of what, this big deal.
Yes, this is part of one of our brands that's part of our merger, Moon Cheese. And it's a cheese-based product. It has one ingredient, 100% cheese.
That's what I was looking at, yeah.
And it basically retains the flavor of cheese made in a special oven that we have the patent for. And it's really delicious. It's very easy on-the-go snack.
I'll take the moon cheese.